This nunchuck lesson for beginners, we're going to ask the question, can you defend yourself with these? Or are they just a movie weapon? Grab a pair of nunchucks. This is still going to be a basic lesson for beginners. I'm going to have you warm up today holding it here on the end. And you're going to start behind your shoulder. You're going to come down with a vertical strike and up with a vertical strike. When you come up with a vertical strike, your palm is facing the ceiling or the sky, and you're smashing someone on the top of their head for self-defense, or maybe into his hand for self-defense, or into the shoulder. But this is the basic strike. This is a vertical strike. Can you use nunchucks for self-defense, or is it just a movie weapon? This is basic warm-up. The second strike I'm going to have you do is coming from the same shoulder, going to the opposite hip in a diagonal strike. And again, think about somebody reaching out to punch or grab or choke or stab or slash you, and you're smashing his hand, or you're coming into the side of the head, you're coming into the jaw or the neck, or into the ribs, or down into his knees for self-defense. So this is a diagonal strike, and you're striking down, and you're also, just like before, you're striking on the way back up. Both sides are a strike. You're going to come over to that other shoulder, and you're going to do the diagonal strike on the other side. Now, when you do it, you don't have to bring your hand around your head like that. I don't know why I did that. Basic sword kind of stuff. But you're coming off the other shoulder. The other hand is always up. The question in the comment section that I'd like you to answer, from your experience, your knowledge, your training, your thoughts, right, your opinion, can you use this nunchuck for self-defense, or is it just a movie weapon? The third type of strike is going to be a horizontal strike, coming into the head, maybe into his arms, into his ribs, into the legs, down into the knees. Maybe it's an animal attacking. You're striking this vicious dog off the chain, running around, ripping people up. You're defending yourself with nunchucks. Is it possible, or is it just a movie weapon? Now, when you come across the body, your palm is facing the sky. When you come back, your palm is facing the dirt. So you're coming across and back in a horizontal strike. From here, you're going to put in your other hand. You're going to do the same thing, same warm-up, coming down and up, starting with your vertical strike. You do 5, 10, 15 of these. Bring it from the shoulder, coming across the body into a diagonal strike. One of the things you might want to consider as you're trying to answer that question, is this a movie weapon, or can you actually defend yourself with it, is how you're holding it when you strike. If you're holding it from the very end, then you create the most leverage. You're going to hit with the most force for self-defense. You're holding it in the middle, or maybe closer to the chain, like you would when we start doing some tricks, then maybe it's not as effective. So consider that when you answer the question, is this just a movie weapon, or can you use it for self-defense? Coming off the opposite shoulder, coming across the body and back in a horizontal strike, creating distance between you and the threat. Can you defend yourself with it? As we go through this basic nunchucks lesson. And what do you call it? You call it nunchucks, you call it nunchaku, you call it chucks, you call it Chuck the Truck, Chuck Norris. What do you call it? Doug? I'd like to know that too. Put that in the comment section. People have different names for different styles, different weapons. There's a Chinese name. Do you know the Chinese name? Do you know the Filipino name? The Filipino martial arts, what they call it. All right, do you call it a flail? Or are you calling this a flail weapon? Put that in the comment section. Second thing I'm going to have you do is put the hand in the middle of your chuck, and we're going to start to warm up the wrist with this outer orbital spin. I'm showing you from the side of my body. Looks like this if we're facing each other. You're going to turn your palm over, and it's going to come across the body on the opposite side. Make sure your hand's up and out of the way so you don't whack yourself in the elbow. Bring it back, palm up, turn your palm down, turn your palm up, palm down, put them together. You've got your figure 8 motion. And you can hold it anywhere you want here. I just like to hold it in the middle for this warm up. Once you've done that for a while, put it to the other hand, palm facing the sky, and you do the same basic orbital spin to the outside, palm down, orbital spin on this side, palm up, palm down. We go back and forth. Now you're in your figure 8. This is a basic nunchuck figure 8, but you can do this with a lot of different styles of martial arts weapons, long weapons. Hey there, Bob. Bob says, where do you get these from? This is from karatemart.com. I don't think he makes them anymore. It's either Karate Mart or Combative. I think it's the same company. KOMBATIV.com. They have something similar, so you can find something like that. I also put a link to more traditional nunchucks. This is, in my opinion, this is a great self-defense chuck if you wanted a self-defense chuck. All right, we're going to go back into the right hand, the first hand, and we're going to reverse the orbital. So we're pulling in toward us. When you go forward, you push away. Think about striking forward. When you're pulling back, think about a deflecting strike or a block. So I'm pulling it back this way, palm faces the sky. Turn your hand over, same thing. You're still pulling in reverse. Question in the comment section, if you'd answer for me, Bob, is this a self-defense tool? Can you use this for self-defense? Or is it just a movie weapon? We put those two together, got a reverse figure eight. I hit myself with this one all the time, so I know what it feels like. And then they're just glancing blows. I don't want to take a full strike from this one. I don't care how fancy it looks in the movies or whatever, and how impractical it looks as a self-defense tool. I don't want to get hit by it, is my point. But I want to know what you think. Because we all have different experiences, we all have different training. Palm down, we're pulling it backward, we're doing this reverse spin. This hand is always up, palm up, palm down, put it together, we got our figure eight spin. You want to get technical, put the same foot forward as the hand that's in front as you do this one. And now we're going to go back to those basic strikes, but this time I'm going to go at the diagonal first, follow it with a horizontal, and then I'm going to bring it up to the shoulder and then reverse vertical strike. So diagonal, horizontal, vertical. You put those together. And if you hold it here at the end, like you would if you were fighting, it's going to look big and chunky like that. If you hold it more in the middle, it's going to start to smooth out. And if you want it to go faster, hold it close to your chain or your string. And then as you go through, it's going to be really fast. But we call that the Bruce Lee triangle. It's just a right triangle because of that 90-degree turn on the bottom of the triangle, and then the line here. Put it in the other hand, diagonal, horizontal. With the nunchuck, you always do both hands evenly. If you do 10 things to the right, you do 10 things at the left. Always the same thing. Hey, Tariq, it's good to see you, Mohammed. Nice to see you. Welcome. We're doing nunchucks training for beginners. Asking the question, and I'd like to know your response. Can you use these chucks? Can you use nunchucks for self-defense? Or is it an impractical, fancy, showy, movie, Bruce Lee only weapon that doesn't work? It's not practical. I want to know your opinion. Now the third move, we're going to go back to this outer orbital up here, and we're going to go to the front and the back of the arm, and then you're going to pinch it down and you're going to create tension. So you're holding the chuck against your body with your arm, and you're pushing the wrist, and then when you're ready, you're going to let it go, and you're going to smack him in his face for self-defense. So it comes up, we do an orbital, we do an upper arm, front and back, pinch, 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 pop. So 1, 2, 1, 2, pinch, pinch, pop. And you don't have to do two. You don't even have to do this. This is just a transition move. You don't have to really do this. You can just throw it under there, catch it, and hit him. You can throw it under there, catch it, hit him. You can throw it under, catch it. You can add a spin down, a spin up, throw it under, bam, and pop him in the eye. But the question is, practical for self-defense or just for the movies? From here, front and back, squeeze, 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 pop him in the eye, go into your figure eight, go into your Bruce Lee triangle, go into your orbital, spin down, spin up, spin under, catch, pop, and then go from one hand to the other hand. I'm going to show you how to do that one next. So this is just a hand transfer. I'm going to take this one straight back. Your arm is straight up and down. Your other hand comes in front of the body, not behind. This is wrong. Always in front of, catch, let it go. And this is a strike right across his face. As you bring it back, your other hand is going to be there, catch it, That's all that is. You just put that there, pull it, cross the body. You might hit yourself in the thumb, that's all right. Slow and smooth, smooth as fast, take your time. And then when you're ready, go forward, striking across his face for self-defense. When you get here, the back of your hand is gonna touch your elbow and you're gonna turn it up. So it touches and then, there it is. So cross the body, up, cross and up. And you'll not hit your head if you keep your hand straight up and down. If your hand turns like this, it just hit me in the head. It's gonna hit you in the head. Don't point your hand at your head. Point your hand at the sky, and then it always goes to the sky. So, orbital, figure eight, Bruce Lee triangle, hand transfer, orbital, upper arm, squeeze, 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 pop him in the eye, hand transfer, orbital, Bruce Lee, upper arm, squeeze, pop, Bruce Lee triangle, hand transfer. Throw it and catch it. That's the next thing. Are you gonna use it, throw it and catch it for self-defense? No, probably not. But is it fun to learn? Yes, let's do it. So we're gonna make an bigger orbital, right? Clockwise, like a clock. Second hand. So I'm going around, I let it go. I'm gonna catch it with the left hand. Then I'm gonna reverse counterclockwise. Let it go, catch it with the other hand. Spin, catch. Spin, catch. That's not enough. Now put your right foot forward, put in your right hand, figure eight. Throw it on the left and catch with the right. Switch your feet, figure eight, throw, and catch. It's this motion. But because you're going side to side, you throw it into the other hand. Cartel Thomas says, Nunchuck's first weapon before he studied Taekwondo. Nice technique. Thank you. Thank you, Cartel. I appreciate that. So figure eight, throw it and catch it. Figure eight, throw it and catch it. I had a pair of nunchucks long before I ever did Taekwondo too. I just thought about that. I had it before. No, I had it after. I did judo first. I did judo. About 9 years old, I started judo. About 11, I got my first pair of chucks. I've told that story many, many times. You have to watch one of the other videos. I'll tell you how I got my first pair. Then my brother and I started making them. We used to make them out of tomato steaks and cotton rope. Figure eight, throw it, catch it. Figure eight, throw it, catch it. Long before you could buy them off of the internet. There was no internet. Maybe there was, but I didn't know about it. Figure eight. Certainly couldn't buy it off the online. Still really can't give them that much. Hey Brian, it's good to see you. Brian says good morning. All right, so let's review real quick. Basic question is, can you defend yourself with these, or are they just a movie weapon? Hermes Trismegistus, I don't know how you say that. I think so. So you used to make them in the 70s. Yeah, I was born in the 70s. So that's how we got it. That's right. That's the only way we did it. Muhammad's asking for the Bruce Lee triangle again. I'll show you again. What length do I prefer? I was going to make this video with my short length. I've got one with just three. Sometimes I'll cut these and then I'll adjust them and make them. It's called a speed chuck. So it depends on what I'm doing. If I'm going to go, and I don't do this anymore because it's been a long time since I had a big martial arts school with lots of students, and we would go to movie openings, and we would go to demonstrations, and we'd go to tournaments, we'd go to schools, we'd be in the parades every year, right? I had hundreds of students per year, and it was one of the biggest schools in Ohio, biggest martial arts schools. And so I had speed chucks, and I would do 2 chucks at once. We would do all the fancy things and throw them and catch them, and I would train really well so I wouldn't make myself look silly. And so I'd use the speed chucks for the demo. For self-defense though, this is the perfect pair. So I prefer, for self-defense, we're asking the question, is this just a movie weapon or can you defend yourself with it? This is heavy aluminum. It's got a nice little bite there that's gonna tear skin if it hits you. The tip is gonna slice you, it's gonna cut you. When you hold it right, you know how to use it for self-defense, and you know how to follow through on your strikes. And so I would prefer the longer chain because it's much more effective. Jeffrey says, love it. Thanks, Jeffrey, thanks for being here. All right, Mohammed, let's talk about the Bruce Lee triangle. It's 3 strikes. It's a diagonal strike, it's a horizontal strike, and it's an upward vertical strike. So angle, straight, straight. 1, 2, 3. If you hold it here like you would when you were fighting and defending yourself, it's going to look different and it's going to be a bigger motion than if you hold it here. It's going to be a faster motion. And if you hold it here at the tip, it's going to be even faster and it's going to look, but it's not effective for self-defense. You wouldn't do that for self-defense. It just looks cool. So Bruce Lee triangle, 1, 2, 3. Here's another Bruce Lee move, the orbital, the upper arm, the squeeze, and then the pop. And the secret that most people don't know is Bruce Lee was a teacher of Dan Inosanto and a student. Dan Inosanto, if you don't know who that is, he's a Filipino martial artist, also Jeet Kune Do, and a wizard with the nunchucks. And if you watch some of the old Bruce Lee movies, he fights Dan Inosanto in the movie, and Bruce Lee's doing like 5 moves, and Inosanto's doing like 20. And it's just because Inosanto was a much more practiced and learned martial artist and nunchaku man than Bruce Lee. Anyway, so Bruce Lee had about 5 moves. We're gonna go over those real quick. He would do a figure 8. He would do a hand-to-hand transfer, usually in the reverse. And he used these big long chucks. He would do the triangle. He would do the outer orbital, the high-pitched scream. He would do the upper arm. He would do the squeeze, 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 bam. And then he'd roll around on the ground, popping people in their feet. One of my favorite movies. He rolls around on the ground, popping people. Yeah, Jeffrey says he's made a few nunchucks in the 70s. Love to make a set now. Yeah, go to the Home Depot. It's hard to get tomato steaks. The tomato steaks were best because they had a great grip. They were hexagon, right? They had the angles cut into them. It was a hexagon pattern. And you can get them. You got to get hardwood. Don't get poplar. So if I were to make a pair now, and I might make a pair. Maybe we'll make a pair together. Go to Home Depot, Lowe's, or Ace Hardware. Get a 36-inch dowel rod. Cut to the length of your elbow to your wrist. So you measure it, elbow to wrist. This is how I would do it. Elbow to the wrist. Take the drill and drill your hole, the top of the chuck, about 3/4 of an inch down, not too high. And then if you're super fancy and you're not gonna break your wood, you also drill the hole this way. So it goes in here. Then you're gonna feed the cord through. From here, you tie it, you feed it through the middle so the cord's coming out of the middle like this. If not, you can do the old fashioned way we used to make them. You just go from one side to the other. But ideally, drill the hole down, drill the hole through, feed it through, tie the two together, put your knots on the outside, and loop it at least twice, maybe 3 times if you can. 3 times are gonna make it really tight, but 2 will work with a nice piece of rope. And then, then you can make them. Yeah, Home Depot dowels, cut and drill, tons of traditional videos on YouTube. Yeah, super easy to make. I haven't seen any of the videos on YouTube, but I'm sure they're there. Everything's on YouTube. But grab one of those videos, watch that, and then maybe sometime we'll make our own together. All right, I think we finished with the throw and the catch. I've got one more, which is really important, which is the wrist roll. It's not important. I mean, it's not important for you wouldn't use it for self-defense, but it's a fun, simple thing, something that you can pick up in a day, because you're gonna be picking up your chucks over and over again as you drop it. But you start here, you wrap it on the back of your hand, you turn your hand to catch it, flip it over, and then you just bring it back. When you drop it. And as long as you pick it up, after you drop it, you keep picking it up, keep dropping it, keep picking it up, eventually it'll be easy for you to do your wrist roll. That's all it is. And it's a matter of timing. Then you're going to go to your figure 8. When you're on this opposite side of your body, this is your right hand. When you're on the left side of the body, there's your wrist roll, which puts it in this negative grip. And there's also a strike. You can fight with that still in this position. From here, to go back into a positive grip, when you're on the same side, right hand, right side, another wrist roll. So you start doing your figure 8, 1 foot forward, your technique, wrist roll, wrist roll. The way I practice, I would do 10 figure 8s and a wrist roll, and then 10 in this grip. And then I challenge myself and I go down to 9, and 9, and then 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. And then finally you get to wrist roll on each side. And by the time you get there, it should be a lot smoother. And depending on the length of your chain, your hand is going to find the right spot. And your hand will figure it out. You don't have to even think about it too much. But it's going to be different. If you have a short chain, it's going to spin very differently. And with the short chain, we call those speed chucks. Those can be much easier to do than with the long chain. But you can do it. So, and don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. And I haven't said that in this video. But this is important because the main question that I want you to answer, please, for me in the comment section is, can you use this for self-defense, or is it just a movie weapon? If you have a pair of foam, and I have them somewhere in a box because I was going to give some kids, some beginner kids. I have a bunch of brand new ones. I had when I would go to schools and do demos, and then teachers' eyes would go like this when you pull out the chucks. And then I'm like, that's okay, I've got the foam ones for the kids. And they're like, oh, because you think the kids are going to run around smacking each other, which they will, right? But if it's the foam, then they're not going to get hurt. So I have the foam chucks. I'm going to show you those. If you have foam chucks, find a way, make your own. Go to YouTube, videotape, or pull up the video that says how to make your own out of wood, and go make some wood ones. And don't stay with the foam too long. You're not going to learn fast if there's no bite when you whack yourself, when you hit yourself. When you hit yourself, you'll learn not to do it over and over again faster. You'll still hit yourself, but you'll do it less and less and less the more you train. But if you have foam, you'll never get better because they're too light, for one, and two, when you whack yourself in the head or in the arm or the elbow, that funny bone, or in the knee or in the back, right on the back fat, you hit yourself in the back fat, you're not gonna learn very fast. Oh, paracord, that's Pro Chucks. Yeah, Pro Chucks. I got a bunch of Pro Chucks over there, actually. I just didn't bring it out. That's what I was looking for, that name the other day, Brian. Thanks for saying that. But I was talking about the Lissaju system, and I think it was Bearden, may he rest in peace, who created this system based on Filipino martial arts. It's a very beautiful, flowing, fun system. It's almost like a moving meditation. And I think he's the one that came up with the Pro Chucks. And they're really, he made them out of oak, and they're all kind of a hexagon pattern. But those are really fun to use. All right, you guys have been awesome. I'll see you on the next one. I'm going to make another one of these today. We're going to go to the beach. It's a little cold out there, but we're going to go. We live near the beach. If you live near the beach, you better be going to the beach, or what's the point? Oh, Brian says Lee Barden was his teacher. Yeah, did I say Bearden? I couldn't think of his name the other day, and Bearden, and the Barden, but it's Lee Barden, and I had all of his VHS tapes, and I'd save my money, and I forget what he sold them for, like $35 or something back then, and I would mail a check with a piece of paper and order his chucks. That's how I have so many of them, and then I'd give them away to students that I liked. It was probably I probably shouldn't have given so many away. But I gave him away as gifts all the time, and then I'd order myself a new pair. And there's just something about the feel, and he was so fluid, and he was like a poet when it came to the chucks. He could do things that a lot of people couldn't. There's a lot of great guys do a lot of tricks that you'll see a lot faster than me. And there's a reason for that. One, I'm not as fast as I used to be, and I don't practice as much as I would need to maintain that kind of speed. Two, I want you to learn it. So if you haven't done it before, I want you to learn the basics and feel good about the basics. Plus you can build anything off the basics, and you can get your own speed. And you can learn finger rolls and all the other tricks that other people do with the nunchucks. But I want you to know the basic set, so that, and if I'm going super fast and showing off, which I can't do, like I said, because I'd probably throw it I'd probably go through the window in the garage with my chucks if they come flying out of my hand. But yeah, Brian says gave away a lot of his too. Yeah, Hermes says you can use these, the self-defense, or the St. Louis City Sheriff's Department. Hermes, I've got a pair from, I think it was an Idaho Police Department that I bought from a like an online auction of used police gear. I've got a pair of the Orcut. Was it Orcut or Northcut? It was Orcut. Anyway, there's another martial artist who came up with using these for the police department. And there's old, thanks Jeffrey, I appreciate that. There are old videos, what was that TV show? Cops, some of the old cops, the first cops like 30 years ago. Yeah, lo siento. Mi español no es bueno para instrucciones, or instrucción. I think now I'm turning it into Italian. But you can see these old videos of this cop from Fort Lauderdale beating the snot, or getting ready to, I think they cut it real quick, out of a perpetrator that he takes down, and he's apprehending him, and he whips out his police nunchucks. And I didn't believe it was a thing. I was talking to a couple of law enforcement people, and they're like, yeah, have you ever seen that video? And they pull it up and show me. I'm like, there's no way. So I found a pair, and I got a pair over there, and they are really nice. But those techniques, they were mostly used for like come-along techniques. And if you know anything about law enforcement come-along techniques, it's just, we call it pressure points, but it's really pain compliance. And they would use like the chucks, and you would come up, you would wrap a guy's arm and just start squeezing. And you can imagine what kind of torque and force that's creating on those bones in there. And you better come along or it's going to snap your arm. So anyway, once this video goes up and it's live, they'll translate it and it'll be in Spanish. And then in Spanish, a bunch of other languages. Facebook, everybody's doing that these days. Anyway, I'll see you guys on